Can Satan challenge God? Unfiltered, Kabbalah is dangerous. In fact, this man's story shows us why. His name was Achra. He began asking forbidden questions about angels and how evil is born. What he discovered destroyed his faith. But the real danger wasn't the knowledge itself, it was what he missed. Here's what's terrifying about Kabbalah. You discover that evil is born from the holiest stages of creation. The same divine energy that creates angels of pure love also evolves into the force that tempts us to sin, because it's the same spiritual mechanism which brings forth holiness that brings forth darkness. How is that possible? Why would God create it that way? Right? To answer that, we need to understand how angels are created. Unlike humans who have a full palette of abilities, angels are limited to very specific attributes. The angel of kindness has only kindness. The angel of judgment has only structure and discipline. No flexibility, no choice. How does this happen? It's a product of the fascinating process of spiritual creation. To create limited beings like angels and souls from his infinite ability and glory, God first imagines an infinite version of everything within himself. Then, God brings this infinite version of reality into being in 3 stages. First stage, it's all combined as one pure being. Second stage, God separates all potential beings into 10 specific categories, 10 individual pulses of energy. The third stage, God creates channels and relationships between the 10 categories so they can work in harmony. These 10 categories are called Sefirot. They're the building blocks of everything. They include the ability of kindness, compassion, humility, discipline, connection, and action. Also wisdom and understanding. Then God creates souls, angels, and evil from these categories? Yes, but the angels and evil must originate in the second stage of creation, where all 10 categories are completely separate. So you see how this information could be dangerous? Well, I see how this could go several ways. Right, but the point of this video is to show exactly how to avoid those mistakes. Like we said, the difference between angels and souls is that souls have all 10 abilities within them and can change. We have both kindness and judgment in us. We can change our personalities between work and home, and over our lifetime, we can completely change ourselves. Angels, on the other hand, like we said, don't have that. Angels of love are only love. Angels of discipline, only discipline. They only have one ability. The reason angels could exist is because of that second stage in creation where the 10 categories are separate. An angel is born from one category only. Human souls, on the other hand, exist because of that third stage, where all 10 categories are combined and flow into each other. Our soul reflects that and has all 10 abilities within it, and they work in harmony. That's where Kabbalah gets dangerous. The mechanism we just explained that creates angels is the same one that creates evil and Satan. Does that mean evil is really holy? You see, that's the mistake. Not at all. Because the reason evil could exist is because God is hidden. We don't see God in this world, and that's why we're able to sin. It's not holy, it comes from the lack of godly expression. But that's only what enables evil to come out. Where does it originate? From that second stage of creation. But why there? Because that second stage of creation is like taking a word with deep meaning. Imagine the word truth. Okay, let's write it out. Now imagine each word as something separate. There's a problem, right? When the letters are together and work in harmony, there's deep meaning to them. But once they don't work in harmony, they lose that depth and meaning. Only when you put them together do they shine that light. But the moment we forget that the letters are part of a word, the light of the letter disappears and it becomes dark. In a similar way, those 10 separate categories, those 10 pulses of infinite energy, they don't work in harmony. Why? Because each is an infinite expression of a specific ability of God. But since they're so close to God, they're extremely holy and pure. But then comes concealment and angels come into being. They still see most of the light, so they're drawn to it. So they're still holy and pure. Exactly. The concealment merely allows them to experience themselves as individual beings. However, when more concealments and covers diminish that light in order to enable existence in this world, suddenly those individual things don't see any reason to work in harmony with the rest of creation. And that creates chaos and selfish drives, which is evil. The mistake Acher made, which we must avoid, is that he saw plurality in heaven. He saw angels and thought they were independent powers which can act on their own. But he missed two things. First, angels do not have the power to act on their own. God created them from nothing, and they're completely committed to his truth. The second thing he missed is that when we actually succeed and bring things together and we make a cohesive and unified entity by using physicality for goodness and kindness, we actually fulfill the purpose of the entire creation. And that is to refine this world and make the infinite spirituality shine from within the physical. And the reason we're able to refine physicality in this way is because of its infinite source in spirituality. A very close friend of the king came to a town of wise people and began encouraging a rebellion. The people thought, how could it be? This man loves the king. It must be he's testing our love. The concept of Satan should be viewed within this light. We need to understand that Satan is not a being that is against God. It's simply a creation by God, completely devoted to God, simply to test us and to make an obstacle. Because obstacles show that you mean it. And those obstacles aren't things outside of us. They're right here within us. They're our own inclination to do things that are wrong. Our very own evil inclination. But when we take a moment to realize that our evil inclination is really born from heavenly angels, which themselves are born from pure, godly, infinite pulses of energy, we then understand that it's really just here to reveal the good that's hiding behind the curtain. If you like this video, don't forget to let the algorithm know by clicking that like button and subscribing. You can buy me a coffee, which would support our work here at Kabbalah Demystified by clicking in the link below. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you again next time.